This is episode 59 with Marissa Lace.
Every ounce of your being is made up of molecules of energy vibrating at different frequencies that determine your experience here on planet Earth.
This podcast's intention is to inspire you to elevate the vibration of your energy for yourself and for all of us. This is The Elevator.
Hop on in and ride into the ethers with Britt and Tara of Elevate the Globe.
There's such beauty in feeling all that you need to feel. And I just my heart hurts for people who are still in this autopilot mode and not letting themselves, if you don't let yourself fully feel, you're not fully showing up. If you're not fully showing up, you're not experiencing all the beauty that is your life, which I feel like is sometimes the problem, that because we're so used to turning these things off and shutting these things down, we don't realize that when we're shutting these things down, you're also shutting down the good. You're having to mask it all, not just the bad.
This episode is sponsored by the Elevated Camp, which is our Sacred Moon camp out happening in May in Joshua Tree. So if you have not yet signed up to join us, we are going to be there really soon. And we already have over 50 of you signed up, but we do have some more space at this beautiful Joshua Tree Retreat Center. So we would love for more of you to join us. And it's really going to be a transformational weekend and really a chance for us all to connect in person and elevate under the moon, really tap into this beautiful moon energy as we go deep with some Kundalini yoga, some workshops. And we have just such a beautiful weekend planned for you all.
So if you are interested in joining us, we are doing $100 off right now until May 2nd. So we'd love to have you come. If you're feeling called to Joshua Tree, come out and join us. It's going to be an amazing weekend, and we'll be under the full moon in Scorpio together on Saturday night, which is going to be super rad. So get all the details in the show notes. We have the link, but you can also just go to elevatetheglobe.com/the elevated camp and sign up there to join us. And we cannot wait to welcome all of you under this amazing full moon and just have this awesome group energy kind of, driving together.
Cultivating, right? Yes. So it's May 16th through the 19th, and feel free to invite your friends or your family or just come alone. So many people are just coming on their own, and regardless, you will meet so many new friends, and we're really excited to meet you all and connect with you all. And we have an amazing vegan chef Zara, who is going to be preparing some incredible food, and so many incredible brands that are going to be sharing their elixirs and wellness shots and so many fun things. So we have so much in store for you and so much that we know is still being delivered, and we really want you there. So we're very excited. Check out that link and
we'll see you there.
See you there. Welcome back, guys, and we're so excited to have our amazing friend Marissa Lace back on the podcast for the second episode that we've done with her. And so if you haven't listened to the last episode or you have not connected with her, she is a self-love and manifestation coach, YouTube creator, and is so passionate about teaching women how to tap into their inner goddess and manifest anything. So we are so excited for her to come back on the podcast for so many reasons. And one of them being that we are so happy to announce she will be doing a self-love and manifestation workshop at our upcoming Joshua Tree retreat. So we're just so excited to have her connect with you guys more. And she shares some really cool stuff in this episode about some current manifestations. And, we just have a really fun girl chat.
So make sure to screenshot your favorite part of the episode and tag us on Instagram at Elevate the Globe so we can repost and share the love. And if you haven't already left a review for the elevator, we'd love to hear from you guys. And if you leave a review and screenshot it and send it to the elevator at elevatetheglobe.com, we'll send you our magic morning checklist for a beautiful morning. So you guys, we cannot wait for you to listen and we hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the elevator, and we are sitting here with our dear friend Marissa Lace.
Hello.
She's just channeling Venus over here
For round two.
Round two. Yes, and we're so happy that you're here, Marissa, because we are going to be together here soon in Joshua Tree, and we wanted to have a little episode together where we're just talking about all things that are going on in your life and some manifestation things that you wanted to share, and just kind of see where this conversation goes, because it already took a turn before we even jumped on. It's taken a few turns.
Yes. I feel like everybody was wanting another episode with you, like right when your last episode came out.
It was such a good one.
Right?
Yeah. I loved it. I didn't remember half of that conversation. So listening back, I always get so excited because I feel like I channel just so much and then I never remember it. So it's so fun to listen to them back.
Yeah, it was one of our highest downloaded episodes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everyone loves it and everyone still catches it and reposts it. It's one of the people's favorites. So we are excited to have you back on.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening and you didn't listen to that episode after this one, go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, it's episode 33, which is Marissa's number.
Master number 33.
So amazing. So welcome back, love.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I know.
Of course.
We are too.
So I thought it would be fun for this episode, since you already gave your elevator pitch last time, to just share a little snippet elevator situation of what's going on with you right now.
A lot is shifting right now and happening right now in my own personal life. And I feel like I just had a birthday, which you guys were there, and it was so magical. And it just, right now in my life, I feel like I'm up-leveling a lot, but in my personal life. And it's almost like I am expanding bigger than I ever thought possible. And I've just been sharing with my close friends that this year feels really big. And it started out with like a really big test. And a lot of the times we associate tests with like a negative energy, but it was really beautiful to kind of be realigned with getting clear about what I actually want, or getting clear about what I can actually hold right now. So I think just what's going on with me right now is expanding, and expansion in the sense of expanding myself for holding even more than possible, so I can show up bigger than before for everyone else around me.
I love that.
Thank you.
It's just bursting the energy. Yeah,
I just feel like a flower opening up.
You are.
Well, so what are some new things going on?
There's been a lot of growth around relationships and dating, and I'd never explored casual dating. I had never opened myself up to the idea of just kind of doing what we saw in movies, of dating other people and dating multiple people, and really just allowing yourself to get to know someone without this pressure of being like, is this the one? Is this my partner? And it's like, no, it's kind of just showing up exactly how you are, letting them show up exactly how they are, and seeing if that feels good in your body. So I've been just getting a lot of messages around love, which I know we talked so much about on the last episode, but just what's been coming up is a lot of conscious dating and just intentional dating. And, you know, that includes dating myself and the relationship with myself, and getting really clear about what I want in that world and what I want in that realm. Because it's very easy to say, oh, I'm bad at manifesting love. I'm bad at manifesting a relationship. But are you bad at manifesting a relationship, or do you actually just not want a relationship right now? Are you enjoying this energy of just enjoying other people?
I love that. Yeah. Or maybe it just hasn't been the right match.
Right. Or maybe you just like are trying to, you know, physically feel a lot of people out.
Exactly.
Do what you want.
I love that.
Live your truth.
Live your truth. I think it would be fun if you don't mind sharing about your test.
My test. Yeah. So and Tara, I would love for you to pop in because I've shared a lot with you about this past experience. But I encountered a really amazing man who had been going through his own separation, and he was divorced. And it was he was always telling me that he wasn't available. He was telling me that, I want to take it slow, which I was on that same page about. Long story short, the test being, people are always showing you who they are. People are always showing you what they are capable of. They're always telling us what they're capable of also. Sometimes we just don't like the answer. And I know I shared that on the last episode about our own intuition. It's like we are always being shown the true answer, and we're kind of always being shown what the truth is. Sometimes it's just like not what you want it to be. And so the test just being of like, people are going to show up how they're going to show up, and it's your own job and it's your own choice if you're going to listen or not. And so what that means to me and what that showed up in my life as is, why do I keep showing up for and why do I keep choosing these people who are really unavailable? Meaning behind it being I'm unavailable and I don't actually want a relationship. I keep showing up for people who I know will never actually work out because then it's easier. And it's like, if subconsciously I know that this person also won't want to be in a relationship, then that works out best. And it's so funny though. It's funny though, because with this person, every time he would kind of, start a conversation with me about being unavailable and wanting to take it slow, my only thing back was, I 100% see that. And I mean this with so much love that like, I'm just trying to get to know you right now. So I was trying to take it slow, but this person was so blocked off that it's like, we couldn't even do that. So test just being about like showing up and being really radically honest, like I was saying, about what you do want and what you are here for. And also just like, Tara and I talked about this a lot, about just getting really clear about what you can hold. So also about the expansion aspect, it's solidifying myself and growing myself that I can hold a relationship that I would truly want, not settle for, because settling is a choice.
Yeah. I like that you're being radically honest, because we were talking about that a lot of times people aren't necessarily, they're calling stuff in, but they're not looking at, okay, it's great that you're finally understanding and looking that like at the fact that these unavailable people are just mirrors of you and you're a little unavailable. And why? Why? Because you don't really want one right now, or you're not ready to fully hold the kind of relationship that you want, and you're moving towards that. So if you can kind of wrap your head around that and then feel it in the body, a lot of times it feels like a relief. Like, oh, that's the truth. That's my truth. Oh, now I can really get behind that and get on this train and like move through it. And then I won't be constantly in this like spinning cycle of attracting unavailable people. And, I was able to speak to you about that the other day because I've been there until I became really honest with myself. And then it, the honesty with yourself is what moves you through anything, really. And just being cool with where you're at. And if you're not cool with it, you got to get cool with it and then move through it.
Right. Because being cool with it really is just self-acceptance.
Yeah.
And self-acceptance comes from self-love. And the second pattern that I picked up on was I was attracting people or choosing people, we could say, that old Marissa would have chosen, that like a couple years ago Marissa would have chosen. And I was choosing these people who they all told me the same thing. They found me so interesting. They were almost like intoxicated with me. And it was the same pattern of we would jump in really freaking quick and they would be all about it for, X amount of time. And then they were just as out of it, just as quick. And what kept coming up was I was showing them what they needed to work on, which, in this world, as my highest self, I can honor that. As a normal 26-year-old woman, that hurts. Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody, like I'm so happy I can be a mirror for you. I'm so happy I can lead you to your healing, but not your teacher, not your healer, not my problem. Like, no, thank you. So it was me choosing these people who would kind of come around me they would be super into it, super interested. And it was funny because I was always like, oh, like, I guess I like them, or, oh, I guess I like the situation. And then we'd be together, they'd be super into it. And then the moment we kind of like separated and took time, that was when they were out of the higher energy, and when they were kind of seeing like, oh, if I like want to be with someone like this, like I need to step up my stuff too. And some people aren't ready to face their own stuff, which is where my mantra in dating of not your teacher, not your healer came from. Like I used to look for a project instead of a partner. And I've just like committed to myself that I'm not doing that anymore.
I love that. Yeah. Just knowing that, like, of course, you're a teacher and a healer in so many ways, but choosing like your boundaries and where to be that and where you're not available for that.
100%.
Yeah. I think that's really important because sometimes it's like it can get so muddled with all these different areas of our lives, you know, like when we're in what roles. So you were, of course, attracting that because that's who you are so much in your life.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
I think that is something that I was trying to navigate for so long. And instead of navigating it, I decided just to kind of put my foot down, like kind of just have a boundary. It's like, you know, a lot of men find me on Instagram, obviously, when we're dating, and then it causes them to ask questions. And a big question is the not your teacher, not your healer mantra that I use. And I'm always very open and very loving with them that, you know, if you're wanting to learn something or you're wanting to work through something, like I know some of the best people. Like I just hooked up one of my people that I was seeing with Shaman Durek. Like I'm more than happy to facilitate you elevating higher always, but I'm not going to be the vessel that you do it through. Like I'm not your lifeline.
For sure. Yeah. And I think it will just feel natural when it actually, like, you know, for Justin and I, it's like, I teach him things all the time and he teaches me things all the time. It's like an equal like balance. Exchange that doesn't feel like I'm giving too much or he's taking too much or vice versa. And I've never felt like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it just won't feel like that when it's not that.
Right. In the context that I'm speaking of, it's like in this dating world, in this beginning dating. If I decide to like enter a partnership with someone, 100%, that is when you like have the equal energetic exchange. But if it's like date 2, I don't need to like walk you through the energetics of your divorce and feeling like an abandoned child. Like that's not my place.
Yeah. Like that's a counselor's office or Shaman Durek or yes, there's plenty of people out there.
On a second date.
Listen, people want to get real deep real quick. They feel my Scorpio moon. They're like, she gets it. And I'm like, I don't. Don't talk.
So don't talk anymore.
Yeah, stop.
I'm going to take full advantage of this dinner date.
Right? They're like, if I'm paying for this dinner, that's pretty much a session.
Oh man. It's fun. It's funny to watch your date night. Honestly, it's fun and funny because you're just like fun and funny and open about it. And feel like, you know, it's cool to. I have a hard time sharing my dating life. So I just don't really. It's very private to me. So it's fun to watch yours because you're very open about it. So a lot of people I know feel that way too, that it's kind of fun to watch you kind of go through all of this stuff.
Yeah,
because I think you're teaching people a lot of things.
Right. And that's a new thing for me to be so open about it. And I think that also comes from just my new perspective and my new energy around dating since like pretty much last fall since I split from that partner. And it was just like, this doesn't have to be hard. And I refuse to subscribe to the belief that it is hard or it is tricky or it needs to be messy or anything of the sort. And that's part of the reason that I stepped away from this most recent person of just like, we can see and we can sense when someone has a belief that it needs to be hard. And that's when like little self-sabotage things will come up. And so it's up to you and really up to the other person if you feel safe enough and comfortable enough to have a conversation around it. But because in my situation, it was a very unavailable person, it was like, you know, this is your pattern right now and I can honor that, and had a very loving voice memo and then ta-ta. Not as personal as a phone call, but not as cold as a text. Voice memo.
Marissa does like the voice memos.
Love a voice memo.
I get a lot of voice memos from you.
Sufficient.
So before we jumped on this morning, you were texting us that you have a big manifestation that you wanted to share with us, and it involves Joshua Tree, actually.
Yes.
So can you spell it?
I can.
Okay.
So as two of my friends, you know that I was taken to Joshua Tree by this great man that we're speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
And I had always been wanting someone to show up for me the way I was showing up in all my past relationships. Like I just wanted someone to do something nice for me. Let's throw it out there. I want someone to take me on a trip. I took so many men on trips. I'm like, I want someone to like just think of it on their own and take me on a trip. Long story short, this beautiful man took me on a beautiful trip, most beautiful Airbnb I'd ever seen. Come back, really great. And the day I come back, I hear that I have to be out of my apartment for a week because, they're doing renovations, which is no big deal. Already, I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. Turns out the hotel that my landlord booked me happened to be the hotel that one of my best friends was staying at while she was in town. So not only did I get I got a weekend of this beautiful man taking me on a trip. I then got a week staycation for free. Didn't have to pay for anything. He did everything. And then I was just thinking last night and I'm like, I was like, what do I want right now? And I was like, I really need to be grounded. I really need to do something that my heart wants to do. And my landlord texts me and he says, hey, why don't you move from a hotel to an Airbnb? And I'm like, that is a beautiful idea. And I'm like, where does my heart feel happiest? Joshua Tree. So I get on my Airbnb app, and what is the first Airbnb that pops up? The one that I was just at.
No.
So I am going on a week-long Joshua Tree trip covered by my landlord. And I have been journaling every single day about how grateful I am to be calling in so much more free travel and just like enjoying just doing things. And I'm so happy that people are showing up for me. So the basis of this story is that, I've had essentially 2 weeks of a vacation now covered. So that's super fun. And I think the basis of it is sometimes we have an idea of what our manifestation needs to look like, and it doesn't need to at all. I was just recording content for some of my clients, and I shared this example of like, think about, whenever I'm talking about manifestation, there's always someone who wants to cut in and be like, oh, that's not real. Oh, can I manifest to learn how to fly? And I'm like, didn't somebody create an airplane? You can fly. You manifested that. Great. Awesome. Glad we had that talk. So I think that just manifesting all these things coming in, it's like you can't be so attached and committed to what you think it needs to look like. Know that your manifestation can come in different ways if you are open to it, which is the process and the beautiful art of detachment.
Oh my God, I love that. That is insane.
I know
how this is all playing out. And I feel like if you weren't open and didn't realize that this was actually your manifestation coming to fruition, you could have gotten so upset that your apartment was being renovated and, gone down the emotional scale and just, blocked it. But you were just so open and realized and...
Right.
Then it just kept on flowing. It's like, okay, we got the hotel. Now we're going to go to Joshua Tree.
Right. And it's not even
what's going to be next, Marissa? Free rent for a year?
I hope so. Listen, I'm really, I was
Bali?
just telling you, I book an Airbnb in Bali.
You're like, you said.
Right. I'm like, you said any Airbnb. I'm really doing you a favor. But I think that it's exactly what you're saying of you can choose to like be really upset over these little things and it really is a little thing. Like, oh, I just don't happen to be in my home. Like, oh, in a hotel, someone's cleaning up after me every day and like, oh, that's so rough. Like, oh, man, like I'm fine. That's so great. Like, if you really think about it, like what are the odds that I get displaced out of my apartment the same time that one of my closest friends is in town at the same hotel that she just happens to be at, and then to have him offer an Airbnb when I was just at this Airbnb, and you guys have seen it. It's like stunning.
It's beautiful.
It's
amazing.
Beautiful. And to think that somehow it's open and... Also, I think that, just the more vulnerable part of it is that I think I'm supposed to go back to this Airbnb. And Tara and I were talking a lot about this man that came up who's showing me a lot of the patterns. And I might have felt a lot of like sadness or anger or, these things. I was hurt by the situation, but I was also grateful for the situation to essentially, like, for lack of better words, like snap me out of it. Like, just see the pattern, release the pattern, and like know that you don't have to be that pattern anymore. So I think that there is something significant of going back to that house and like doing the work there.
I like it. I like that you're just relaxed about all of it. And I feel like that's the key to letting it keep flowing to you, is relaxing with it and like seeing the high side of the whole thing.
Right.
The silver lining, if you will, like all of the beauty that's coming out of it, because that's the whole journey anyway.
100%.
You know? And if you can't enjoy the damn journey, what are you doing? You know?
Well, if you're not enjoying the journey, then like you're in this destination mindset and you're missing all of it. And it's funny, I actually was shooting a text in my car before I walked in here, and I was telling one of my girlfriends that I think it's very significant that I'm going to be in the house, but also I'm very okay that it might be uncomfortable and it might be a little sad and it might bring up some feelings, but like your discomfort is direct access to your healing. And I think that a lot of the times, like, I think if I were to say that on Instagram, to be like, oh, I could be really I could be really uncomfortable. I could be really sad. I could do all these things. A lot of people come in and they're like, oh, well, like, don't manifest that. Like, don't talk about that. Like, only focus on what you want. And I'm like, you don't realize through that emotion, the only way out is through. And like, you need to, and we talked about this last time, you need to honor every emotion that you have. That is bringing up something even bigger for you. Like, if I were to just put this glossy, fake positivity Band-Aid on it, that would keep coming up. The pattern would never be released. The feelings would never be felt. And that would probably lead to a tumor one day.
So true. Yes. A tumor, and let's be frank here. Yeah. It's going to lead to a tumor and maybe a stroke.
Right. And I don't need that energy in my body.
No.
You can't fear your feelings.
No. Or they will become tumors.
Right. You heard it here first.
For real, though.
But for real, though.
For real.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like what can happen if you just kind of mask it or put on this fake positivity, then you're actually manifesting from this like fake, unauthentic place. So who knows what's going to actually show up for you that isn't connected to your highest truth and your true self, because you're literally operating out of something that's not true or real for you. So we hear that a lot too. People are so afraid of manifesting or feeling something because they don't want to manifest something worse.
Right.
But it's like, if you can just take however long it takes you, which won't be that long, if you're actually going into something and feeling it and working to heal through it, then it's gone. And it's like healed and it's released. And then you don't have to do that exact thing again, hopefully. And then you can manifest from your truth and from, a place. And from that point, you'll know exactly what you want. And it would probably be different than thinking about what you want from that unhealed, wounded place of just pretending that, you're okay because you don't want to manifest something worse.
Totally.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of fear around booking it last night. I saw it and I was like, ooh, like that's scary. Like, I was like, ooh, is that going to like feel like a lot? Like, so when the three of us went to Joshua Tree, that was my first time back at that Airbnb since I'd been there with my previous partner. And I had some anxiety and fear about that.
Yeah.
I had a lot of reservations. And even Sarah, who owns the house, was like, yeah, I was really worried about how you were going to feel. And I think that I'm going to cry. There's such beauty in feeling all that you need to feel. And I just my heart hurts for people who are still in this autopilot mode and not letting themselves if you don't let yourself fully feel, you're not fully showing up. If you're not fully showing up, you're not experiencing all the beauty that is your life, which I feel like is sometimes the problem, that because we're so used to turning these things off and shutting these things down, we don't realize that when we're shutting these things down, you're also shutting down the good. You're having to mask it all, not just the bad.
Absolutely.
And that's when you don't actually feel happy. And you think you've got to be happy, almost to play the game of, oh, we're happy. We're going to be happy. We're going to be happy. But it's not really real to you until you go in and feel it all. And like Britt said, it doesn't really have to take that long. You just kind of work through it and you move through it. And it is beautiful. It's not ugly. It might get ugly for a minute and then it gets pretty again.
Yeah.
It's the cycle. Things die and they are reborn, and it's not a big deal. And then you're actually enjoying the journey and you're happy and every single thing you do is an enjoyment, because then you don't get to these destinations very often, like the wedding, the graduation, the promotions are like kind of few and far between. The rest is just happiness on the journey. So you have to feel all that stuff to actually be happy. It's interesting.
So we are briefly interrupting this incredible episode to share that we just received our FabFitFun seasonal boxes. And so we just had to share with you guys. We're so happy and grateful that they are sponsoring with us and that we're partnering with them. And if you have not heard of them, they basically send out these seasonal subscription boxes 4 times a year, and you get full-size beauty, fitness, fashion, and lifestyle products. And they have so many incredible brands. So we actually just opened our boxes now. And I got some Diff sunglasses, which is the eyewear company that gives back, and some amazing vegan and cruelty-free products. And it's kind of crazy how much you get for such a low price.
I know. So the whole box retails for $49.99, but it always has a value of over $200. And you can actually really see that in the box. We were like, whoa, this is amazing, all of this stuff. And we love that so many of them are vegan and cruelty-free products and products that are giving back. So you guys can actually get a box for $10 off. So it would be $39.99 with our code Elevator. So we're excited to be sharing this with you guys. It felt like our birthday or Christmas just opening these boxes, and love that they're seasonal. So every couple months you get a new one with all these fun things in it. So we would love for you guys to try it and let us know how you love it. So you can get your first box at fabfitfun.com and use our coupon code Elevator for $10 off your first box.
And once I had even after our phone call, Tara, I just I took the day and I really thought about a lot and processed a lot. And then yesterday I was in Michael's and I started crying or happy tearing because I found a latch hook kit and I was laughing so hard that I'm like, why am I 26 years old looking at this latch hook kit? But it brought me so much joy when I was little that I'm like, isn't this funny that you can just be happy over something as small as just finding this?
Oh, yeah. I love that.
It's like when you fully let yourself feel all the things, it's like you actually can feel so much deeper, and the littlest things can make you happy to the point of happy tears. And I think tears are this really scary thing that we've all been shutting down for a while. Mm-hmm. But I happy cry all the time. I love happy crying. I happy cry literally if I'm eating something good. And I'm just this is so good. If you really think about how amazing and just radically beautiful it is that you are showing up in this lifetime where we have so many options and so much good around us, how can you not be somewhat excited? Okay, yeah, you got fired. Yeah, your boyfriend's cheating on you. But wow, now you can go find a career that you actually love. Now you can find someone who's really showing up for you. Or, wow, look at all this free time you have. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right?
So many different ways to look at things. And it's why not look at it from this perspective,
all choice.
Of just excitement and feeling it all. I love that. I love the happy tears.
Yeah, I think that was important. Venus, not me. I'm not that jazzed off life, but Venus is. That's great.
You're moving there.
Right. No, I mean, I get super buzzed off of life, but sometimes she comes through and she's super excited about it.
She's more excited.
Yeah, think about it. All these things we have around us, it's it's our everyday life. We kind of get where it's our norm, you know? But it's what if we let being that excited, and what if we let that curiosity and that enjoyment and bliss be our normal? What if you just raise the bar a little bit and you're I'm allowed to feel whatever I want to feel. And sometimes that's really, really good. Or sometimes that's the moment of just leaning into whatever I'm feeling and letting myself cry it out, letting myself have a day. I get asked a lot about how do I shift my mood? I'm in a bad mood. I can't kick this bad day. This bad day is turning into a bad week. And a lot of the time I find that your bad day is turning into a bad week because you are not honoring your bad day. You're trying to fight the bad day. You're trying to fight whatever you're feeling. If you were to give yourself an hour or two just to be like, yeah, I'm really not feeling that great. Or you call a friend crying, or you just like embrace whatever you're feeling. Once you feel your way through it, it's that same thing about like, you can't be, what is that saying where you can't be talking about something you're grateful for and be upset at the same time. So it's like once you feel your way through it, it's like you have to let that emotion out. Like you physically have to move it through your body, which we talk about Kundalini all the time, but like that is such an easy action step as well.
Mm-hmm. So true. Yeah, just letting it come out and release. And yeah, even in classes, people are afraid of crying or just like feeling things, and they'll think it's a bad thing. Like people will always say like, I was crying, or like, I felt so angry. And they're like, I don't understand why, but it's so good to feel that. And if you don't feel that, then it can kind of be like, it can just feel weird if you're not used to feeling it. But I think the more you practice it, whether it is like through a practice like Kundalini, or it's just in your day, like I'm having a bad day, let me just sit with this for a minute and actually let it come out.
Right.
Like the more you do that, the more natural it becomes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and you know, getting back to like our verbiage and people being scared to like quote unquote manifest this. It's like you saying I'm having a bad day, you are not manifesting a bad day. You are honoring where you are at. I was just with a girlfriend yesterday who is going through her own stuff, and she just stood there, and she had just moved into this new place, and you could just see it hit her. Her emotions hit her. And she just started crying, and she threw her head back, and she's like, I don't want to say that, you know, I don't want to say he, you know, fucked me over. I don't want to say this. I don't want to say that because I feel like a victim. She's like, I want to feel empowered. And I go, the empowerment comes when you honor where you're at. You did get hurt. You did, you know, this person did do X, Y, and Z. You are feeling X, Y, and Z. You are not a victim for saying, I am sad. You are not a victim for saying, you know, this person hurt me, this person fucked me over, whatever it may be. Your empowerment comes from owning where you are, owning those feelings, and choosing to shift those.
And that's a Scorpio right there. That's where it is, though. The power is from the darkness, is where you gather the power to go up into the light and kind of be reborn into whatever emotion that you want to be in, whatever state of being. You go down and you go up, like the God cycle: generate, organize, destroy. Right. All of it. I love this. This is beautiful.
I love that.
I'm just like saying, I'm like, oh, there's the Scorpio. And it's
a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's a big deal for everyone. It's a big deal. And I think for everyone to let their friends and their family and their children, like everyone, if they're feeling and having a bad day, just let people have it. And then if it keeps going on, then, you know, you kind of help lift people out of it, but just let people have their feelings, you know?
Yeah. And I think we all have our different processes too. You know, like me personally, I'm somebody that kind of does the healing and lets the emotion and the stuff out like on my own. And I'm actually working on sharing that more. And even Mama Medicine was talking to me about how like, you know, a practice that I can start to do in like safe spaces with safe people to tell them how I'm feeling. But, you know, my just kind of personality and my Cancer and all of that, Hermit, is just to kind of like process it on my own. And so I feel like everybody has different ways, but it's like, as long as you're honoring time and space in whatever way that works for you to heal and process and feel it. And then, you know, we can all elevate and kind of, you know, move into different ways of processing it and work on sharing it more or not sharing it as much. You know what I mean? Like, we're all at such different places with it all.
Well, and it's honoring that there's no right or wrong way to heal. Like just because you see someone on Instagram doing one sort of tradition, one sort of healing, all these things, that doesn't mean that's for you. Just because I'm really into human design doesn't mean Britt needs to dive into human design and that's where she's going to find the key to everything that she's been looking for. It's like, these are all such individual journeys, and you're an individual soul, you're an individual heart. Like, how you show up is going to be different than how, like, you know, each one of us shows up. And there's nothing wrong about that. Like, difference is beautiful.
Absolutely. I like that. And I like how you were talking about radical honesty.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like all a part of this. It's like radical honesty with who you are and where you're at. So maybe you could share a little bit about that, because I know you said you were going to be diving into that in Joshua Tree.
Yeah. I mean, so when I say radical honesty, it kind of goes back to the conversation that I was having with Tara about what do I want? What am I showing up for?
Yeah.
It's like, that saying, it's been really in my head of what you allow will continue. So not only is my focus my own expansion and being radically honest about where I'm in my own way of my own expansion, about, what I'm not showing up for, what am I keeping around, who am I keeping around that maybe is keeping me small. How am I choosing to keep myself small in this chapter, in this lifetime right now? So not only that, but also being radically honest about just relationships and partnerships. It's, I used to be really kind of what you were saying, Tara. I used to be really quiet and embarrassed and ashamed of my dating life. I used to not want to share it because the moment that something didn't work out, I would feel like I messed up and I was wrong. But after going through all of my birth charts and going through my human design and, just all these readings I have, it's like that is where I've gotten like the green light of being like, your biggest teachers in this life are your relationships. Like, you're meant to be talking about these things. You're meant to be doing these things. And then the older I get, with Venus coming through and, Bruce shining that light there, it just all makes sense. It all goes hand in hand. So being radically honest about what I want in a relationship and who I want to be in a relationship, my fears around relationship. Because I know for me, something that I didn't want to admit to myself was that I have this subconscious belief that when I get into a relationship, it will cause me to lose myself, which my greatest foundation in my own life is myself. So because I've been doing that now for a couple of years, it's not scary, but it feels overwhelming in the body to think about having to share this space and like share with other people. Like I've been in this just me space of healing and growing and focusing on my friends and my business and all these things. So to add someone else to the equation, I didn't realize that it feels overwhelming more than it is inviting. So getting really radically honest about, how I want to show up in a relationship and just what that relationship looks like. Like, what do I actually have space for? What do I actually want? And so it's not only getting honest, it's getting really clear. And, only from that honesty can I get clear. And only from that clarity can I set an intention. Because if I was, trying to manifest something from a state of, really not looking at my shit, really just still being in this surface level, if I didn't let myself feel what I felt the other day, if I didn't own my pattern, if I didn't choose to be bigger and release the pattern, then whoever I called in next would probably be the same thing that I just said a little bit ago. It would be someone that like old Marissa would have chosen. And when I say old Marissa, I mean living on autopilot. I think that I'm very aware of energetically what I want. And sometimes it's really hard for me to put that into words. And so I have a lot of friends, including Tara and Britt, who ask like, what do you want right now? And I can feel it in my body, but I can't put it into words. So that is where the work needs to come in. And I think that, what that means to me and what just came through there is like, I know that for me, communicating in relationships is really hard. So that's probably why me communicating what I want is probably that much harder. So there's a lot of throat chakra work that needs to be done. And it's just as simple as just what happened right in this moment of me speaking and getting little cues right there. This work doesn't have to be hard. This work doesn't need to be overwhelming or scary. This work is just constantly realigning yourself with the life you want, with the person you want to be, and loving that person that you are right now, knowing that you're going to get exactly where you need to be when you need to be there.
There you go.
And that's the trust.
Yeah.
Mic drop with the trust.
Yes. So you guys, Marissa is actually going to be out at our Joshua Tree retreat. I'm hosting a self-love workshop. So we're excited to have you out for the weekend.
So excited.
I know.
So excited.
At your favorite place in the world.
My favorite place in the world. Always calls me back.
I know. Anything Joshua Tree, Marissa's, yep, I'm in.
Don't gotta ask me twice. And talking about my favorite thing, self-love and manifestation.
Right? I know. It's going to be great. I love it. We're excited. So, Marissa, we always end with a couple of questions, and you've answered these before, but let's just do it from where you're at right now.
Yeah.
Right now, what is your favorite way to elevate yourself?
Being alone. A lot of alone time, because I find that a lot of us feel discomfort when you're alone. And just like, I know I keep repeating it, but like there's so much power in what I'm saying of your discomfort is direct access to your healing. Your discomfort is where these little spots and nooks and crannies in our body that need extra attention, extra love. And that is self-love. It's sometimes, self-love is tough love sometimes. You need to just be exactly what we're saying, radically honest with yourself and just be like, hey, if I can be uncomfortable for a month, worst case scenario, a month, I will take a month being uncomfortable for a blissed out high vibe life where I just feel so solidified in what I'm creating.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah. I feel like I can look back at my like biggest times of discomfort and uncomfort, and they're always followed by, like beautiful things happening.
Yeah.
And of course, you always have times of discomfort, and I do all of the time. We all do. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to kind of look back at big periods of life. Like I've had, full year and a half spans that were so uncomfortable. And then I can see what followed that. And so, yeah, it's like whatever it needs to be. It's always for such a big purpose.
100%.
I love that.
Awesome. And then the last question is, if you had a microphone, what you do in your hand, and the world was listening to you at this very moment, every single person.
Over 7 billion.
Right,
I
we're
think
over
it's 8
that
billion
now.
now.
I
It
think it might be 8. Yeah.
What? I did not get that memo.
It was 8 billion a couple years ago, so I think it might be more now.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, we are going fast around here.
We gotta look that up. Anyway,
Britt pulled out the phone.
I'm giggling.
So, what would your message be to everyone in the world?
I think my message is still love yourself first, and I always like feel this weird tinge of guilt when I feel like I keep saying the same things on podcasts and interviews. But know that if you're listening to it right now, and know if you're hearing this right now, that this is like your message and this is your sign to like love yourself first. And that just means showing up for yourself. And that means like turning off this autopilot mode and really opening yourself up to getting to know yourself, like learning what you like, learning what lights you up. And, they say that your calling is supposed to be what lights you up. And so many people are like, I don't know what my calling is. I don't know what lights me up. And I'm like, that's why you need to love yourself. That's why you need to date yourself, get to know yourself, honor this person that you are. Stop like consuming what you think others want you to do. Stop being so consumed with what you think you should do, what you think you should say, how you think you should show up, what job you think you should have, what you think your relationship should look like. Ask yourself, what do I like? Who am I? Like, what makes me happy? And I have to ask myself this every day. Every day I'm realigning with the person I want to be and my highest self. I have this practice of I just picture like a little pink, white, iridescent little orb in like my solar plex, I guess, my heart in that area. And it's my inner goddess. And I ask her and I'm just like, what do you want to do today? What feels good to you? And loving yourself sets you up to show up for everyone else.
I like that a lot. That's beautiful.
Oh, so amazing.
I like the pink orb or the pink one.
Yeah, she can be pink, whatever you want her to be.
I don't know why I
Pearly
pictured
pink.
I pictured her as pink.
I saw some iridescent too.
Yeah, pink iridescent, whatever.
Whatever.
She changes. She got a wardrobe. Whatever she likes.
She's got wigs. She got
lashes.
It says 7.7 billion as of April 2019. So who knows?
Listen, that 0.3. I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh, Marissa. Well, we love you and thank you for everything you shared.
I love you guys.
And we're so excited for Joshua Tree, for so many people to connect and all of us be out there for the full moon. It's just going to be insane.
Magical.
Yes.
Do we know what the full moon's going to be in?
Scorpio.
Okay, I don't freak out a lot when I'm on podcasts. I try and tame it down. But I was born during a 100% full moon Scorpio. So saying coming to this event will help you thrive, I will be thriving, and we will help you thrive. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, I was born during a 100% full moon.
Wait, I just got full body chills all over.
I literally looked it up. Like I spent an embarrassing amount of time looking this up, but I needed to find out, like, because, you know, it's like, oh, the day after, like, you still have the energy of the school. No, 100% Marissa Lacer, 7:01 p.m. 100%.
Wow.
You're gonna kill me. I love it. Well, something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Something's going to happen. So, Marissa, lastly, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Marissa Lace.
Great. You have Twitter?
I do.
Okay.
I post good morning quotes on there.
It.
Just a little morning inspo.
Little tweet.
Little tweet.
I love it. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on for round 2.
Thank you for having me back. You haven't had a lot of people back, so I feel very special.
No, yeah.
I feel like
you are special.
It's time for Lobby Talk.
So we are in the lobby. Beep. So what's going on in the lobby, B? What's going on with you?
Oh, well.
We have so much happening.
Right?
We do.
It's all so amazing and just a lot of shifts. So I feel like we both have really been feeling this Jupiter retrograde.
And this Pluto retrograde.
Yes, both of them.
Yeah, both. Pluto, definitely. Britt and I literally just had a very deep conversation about all the things that we want to transform in our lives and things that need to be let go of. And then Pluto retrograded. We're like, oh, we're just prepping for it. We didn't even realize.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't see our Instagram post, let's see. This episode is coming out on Monday. It was last Wednesday, that Pluto went retrograde. And so, yeah, it's all about letting go and kind of slowing down, reflecting, looking at different areas of your life and just who you are with kind of a deeper perception and looking at where you can kind of dive deeper with yourself.
Yeah, all those skeletons in the closet are going to be like coming up to the surface to be looked at, to be transformed, to be healed so that we can really get on track with the person that we want to become, that we are becoming, and that nothing from our old selves is really holding us back any longer.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm kind of experiencing it with, the quote unquote darkness or the shadows and also on the light side. So really working with like tapping into my higher self and your God self, as some people call it, to just really use this time to look at where I'm going in this really higher perspective. So I think it's looking at both is really important. Like, how can I release and let go any shadows and anything that's holding me back? And then at the same time, how can I really look and vision out to where I want to go and step into that energy now to then attract it and be able to hold it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been confronted with a lot of things myself that are really just no longer stories and things that are going to be something I want to carry with me into this new version of my life. But like you said, you kind of have to know where you want to go to be able to know what you need to release, other than the things that don't make you feel good. But it's like, what else? How can I become more of the person, the God self, if you will, that you are aiming for? And then also release things that don't align with that. So you do have to do the light and the dark work at the same time. It's a polarity planet. You got to have have both.
Gotta have both.
You gotta have both. Yeah. But
Right?
this time is the transformation time. And
Yeah.
it goes all through summer. And Saturn is going to be retrograde. It actually already it goes retrograde today on the 29th of April.
Okay.
So Saturn retrograde in Capricorn is also really helping us to see where we are going on the path of career and our public lives. And are we working towards a part or a new version of ourselves or a new life that we really want? So, and if there's anything holding us back, we're going to release all that stuff too. So
it's gotta go.
All the summer of like realignment is happening.
Yeah. And we're really diving into it with our mastermind crew, these 15 amazing women that joined us. And, we're looking at our impossible dreams, our big goals, and who the energy is that will really attract and achieve and accomplish and really become what needs to be for those things to come in. So it's kind of exciting for us to work with all of these women that are at all different parts of their life and business, and then also at the same time be working personally with ourselves and elevate the globe. And it's all really just blooming and elevating in a bigger way with all of this astrological energy that's guiding and helping us do it.
Right. And we are going to be in Joshua Tree under a full moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And so there's a lot of energy around that time as well of transformation. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of these themes coming up in Joshua Tree as well because of this.
Yes.
All this astrological energy. And you guys know here at Elevate the Globe, we follow this stuff and we work with it so that we can just really be in alignment and in harmony with the cycles, the rhythms, and the planet.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have lots of stuff going on and a lot going on in the cosmos, a lot of work to be done. It's exciting and fun. And sometimes I feel like it's going to be a little hard and not fun, but then it becomes fun and it's fine.
Right?
So it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies, but then it turns into rainbows and butterflies. And that is what Pluto is. Right? It's the planet of transformation.
Yes. It's like you have to go through it.
Yes.
And I really liked something that we heard in a business training that we went to last week. It's not about confronting your problems or thinking of it in that perspective, but it's about solving them.
Yeah.
So if we always have this proactive, solution orientated mindset, we can start to just be creative and look at, okay, this is what I've got here. How can I heal this? How can I solve this? How can I elevate this? And then it is a game.
It kind of dissolves when you just look to solve it and not to confront it.
Right.
You got to confront some things that maybe confronting in a way of just acknowledging. I feel like that's how you could use that word confront. I acknowledge this is here. Let's just, instead of confront it and fight it, let's just solve it.
Yes.
How can I solve this so you sort of melt away? And I honor that you're there, but let's just melt away.
Melt.
Bye.
I like that.
Anyway.
It's fun. Yeah. Because it's kind of how we like to operate on a macro and micro level. It's with our own personal lives and then it's with the whole globe. How can we look at being a part of this solution?
Yes.
And it is just a nicer way for my mind to really think about it.
Well, it feels relaxed. It doesn't feel like there's resistance.
Yeah. It's not oh shit, I have this problem
and now I've made it this huge thing in my head and all these things. And now, it's just got to do something about it.
Yeah.
And start the process. And literally right before we got on, Britt and I were talking about my workout routine. And I am confronting it a little bit instead of trying to solve it. So there's more energy of me confronting in my head the problem than solving it. So if you could just switch the energy of, okay, put the workouts on the schedule. And then it's just solved.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. You don't have to think about it too much. Just gonna do it.
So true. And that's Yogi Bhajan's, one of his sutras is start and the pressure will be off. But we need to have enough energy to start. So that's really where, we get the energy from our Kundalini and our meditation and our clean eating and all of these amazing practices. So
anyway, we could go on and on about it.
Right? For hours.
It's been a big week for us.
Yes.
A big, learning, elevating week. And it's really cool. And we know that if we're feeling it, you guys are feeling it too.
Yeah, I love just seeing everything everybody's letting go of on our post on Instagram.
Right? It's really cool.
So
really,
cool.
really rad.
Yes.
So go back and look at that if you guys haven't yet. It will be a couple posts back. It's a quote.
Yes.
So you guys can comment there as well. And we'll be watching out for that too.
Yes.
So we love you guys, and come to Joshua Tree with us. Marissa's going to be there too. And we're going to have so much fun. And we're always having fun over here. So we love you and thank you for listening. And with that,
no.
Yeah.
You
ready?
The pure light.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
May the pure light within you guide your way on
to infinity and beyond.
Satnam.